But there's no way of the Witcher cards in it.
It's still good. It's still good.
But it's from last season.
It's still good. It's still good.
But Vi's not in it.
It's still good. It's still good.
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to Christo's Cafe. Hope you're all doing well. We are talking about something not spicy, not special, not fancy in the slightest. We're talking about last season's Deathwish, Overwhelming Hunger, because lo and behold, in this meta, it's still good. It's still good. To be completely fair, I say it's still good. I've played about a half dozen games with it. It went 5-1 in those 6 games, but I know the season is coming to an end. I know some people are looking for different alternatives to play monster decks that aren't Vi or Koschei. So I thought this could be a cool alternative that you guys can check out. It holds its own in most situations. I will go ahead and throw down 2 games at the end of this introduction for you to take a peek at. And I mean, lockdown can often be an issue for something like Vi because you take away leader and you start locking those consumes and it becomes a problem. Overwhelming Hunger doesn't have that issue. It can do perfectly well just going ahead and getting points with things like Haunt and your Eagern and your Osril and all of that. So that's one game that I will show you kind of how to handle that situation. The other game I play against is against Patricidal Fury, and that is still something you see pretty regular out there. If they are not playing Lippy with Skellige, then they're probably playing Patricidal Fury. So I've got those 2 games lined up for you. If you want to see this deck live, check me out on Twitch Tuesday, Thursdays, and Sunday, twitch.tv/TheOneChristo. So let's jump in. I'll walk you through the deck and give you kind of an idea of what my mindset was. Now, at the same time, I say that, but the deck itself hasn't changed much since last season. I was more of a devotion player last season. That's just kind of the way I went. I liked the big point slam from it. I think right now, not having things like Heatwave or Punish like Igni or Earden or something like that can be a bit of a death sentence, having to deal with things like Vi and stuff like that, or Colgrim even. You'll see, actually, I have another game. I'm not going to include it here, but if you guys are curious, let me know. Igni won me a game against Colgrim just because it doesn't matter if you hide him behind a defender. You snap him off and you can't copy anything with Letho and you just win the game. So lots of tools in here. Like I said, I just mentioned Igni, but starting from the top, you've got Haunt. You've got 14 Provision Haunt. So ironically, the biggest change from last season to this season is the fact you've got 1 extra provision with Haunt. So you lose 1 provision overall in the deck, and it doesn't seem like much. 1 provision isn't the end of the world. Surprisingly, in putting this deck together, I found that 1 provision to be very, very annoying because you actually have to lose something from the middle of your deck. So I'll get to that in a moment, but right now we've got Heatwave after that. Obviously, we've seen a lot of thick boys come out, so this will be your answer to that. We've got Eagern here. Eagern's going to be your Osril target in all likelihood and just big point slam in round 1. You've got Detlaf, staple in the deck. Igni, like I mentioned, that is kind of my extra spice for a little bit of removal. If you're going to deal with a Vi deck, you're going to have Heatwave, you're going to have things like Igni who are going to go and just wipe a big dude off the board. If Igni's playing for 25 plus points against Vi, and so is Heatwave, you're in good shape. Naglfar is our tutor, so what we had to do was pull Oneiromancy out of the deck and go with Naglfar. I really didn't have too much of an issue with my draws. I usually had a pretty good hand and pretty much grabbed everything I did. Once in a blue moon, things will go sideways, but for the most part, it played out pretty darn well. So Naglfar is good enough as a tutor. We've got Maruna, standard. We have got Osril, who's our going to be targeting Eagern. We've got Goliath as an option. You can always go into your opponent's graveyard. If they got a great sword hanging out, snag that. It's always kind of nice. Manticore. So there was some thought process here around Manticore, possibly pulling Manticore out of the deck. The reason I really like it is that A, people do not respect the Manticore. The amount of times I'm going to play on red coin and my opponent drops Dunka and boosts it, Longship and boosts to attack advantage, and then you wipe it out, feels great and puts you in a really good spot to win round 1 on even. So that's why I kept the Manticore in. Alternatively, you could pull the Manticore out, put in a Werecat. So that's an option as well. The reason Werecat is not in here is it's kind of counterintuitive with Igni. They don't really line up because Werecat's going to make the row worse. Igni is going to want those big points on the row. You could always switch Igni if you wanted and go grab something like maybe just Vanilla Jerry. And that could be a good option here as well. And then you go and you throw in the Werecat. Adastrig is in here. Technically, you could also put the Werecat in, but there is really very little control and removal. The most control you get is from Maruna from Manticore. So Striga is a good option in here. Part of my thought process behind that was you're going to run into a situation where your opponent's going to try and play a few things to keep your Maruna value down. Part of the beauty of Overwhelming Hunger is simply the fact that Maruna is in the deck and your opponent knows that, so he or she has to play around those 4 power cards. Having Striga in here comes down, kills one of those 4 power cards, can give you a better Maruna, or can again force your opponent to play into that Maruna. So I do like having Striga in here. You've got Barghest for a consume. You've got your 2 Wild Hunt Riders for thinning, your Larvas for thinning, your Noon Wraiths. Keep in mind they are Deathwish units. Every once in a while, because we don't have Werecat in here and we have Striga in instead, you can be a little bit short on Deathwish units. The Noon Wraith is a great option. We've got the Foglet here. So the little Foggy gets consumed by the Barghest or by the Endrega Warriors and goes ahead and gets you a... goes ahead and thins your deck, gets you some points on the board. You can, if you really want to, use a leader ability on it. Just 1. It's passable. It's fine. You've got Squirrel down here, and you've got 2 Bruxa as well. So they typically play for about 5 plus the Thrive. So they can get up to 6 or 7 pretty easily. I do like the Thrive units. I like them as an option in round 1. If you can do things like play your Larva, play your Bruxa, play your Riders, your Foglets, consume it. In round 1, that's going to give you a truckload of points. You can drop your Goliath to do the same thing. Goliath plus Heatwave against Vi is an option to win you the game as well. Keep that in mind. If your opponent has their Vi in the deck, you get Goliath on board, you self-consume it, and then you Heatwave the Vi that comes out on their side of the board, and you pretty much just win that game. So again, there is a lot of little tech ideas in here to try and counter some of the bigger decks, the more popular decks you see out there. You know, Lippy, Igni can do some work. The other option would be to have the Werecat in here against it. So again, there is some tweaks possible. Like I mentioned, we toyed with the idea of having Jerry of Rivia in here instead. You can look at the Werecat. You can try and find a way to sneak a Parasite in as well. Always a good option for a little bit of extra control. I just didn't see how the Oneromancy fit in here without losing something pretty important that I wanted. So this is how the deck stuck. And like I said, it feels pretty good in most matchups. It feels like you always have a chance, which I think is really important in the meta right now. Very polarized meta. You're going to see a lot of matchups you feel really bad about with certain other decks. And I think this one feels really, really good overall. So give it a go. Let me know what you think. Comments below, Twitch, Twitter, and all that jazz. You can find the links to all of that in the description. Until next time, happy Gwenting. Cry, hey, look, lockdown. Shocking. Shocking, I know. What do we got? Don't need both of you. Don't need that. Probably didn't need Squirrel either. Gonna be a bit weird, I think. We have Bruxes in the deck too, but here we go, like Larva into Rider into Foglet into Consume, I guess. Yeah, GC, I've been working from home this whole kind of time, so I mean, I keep working. The rest of the world just seems to shut down around me, which makes my job in sales very difficult. Bringer of winter. Jesus, can't even read. It's been a long day. It has been a long day. How are you, Bringer? You know, you say that, JC, and I was super pumped about it for like the first God knows how long. And then I very quickly, like over the summer, or at the end of the summer, hit a wall that was like, can I leave the house, please? This is not as fun as everybody makes it out to be. Oh, working from home is great. You just get to wear sweatpants all day. At a certain point, you need to shower just to feel like a human being. Otherwise, it's gross. Just gross. So Bringer, who's there? Fucking all the informants. All the larvae.
I hate nothing more than a creaky door.
Abe Lincoln who? I want to consume this just in case he wants to coup it. I don't think he will, but just in case. Oh, that's fair. The thing he can do. Oh, bringer.
I don't know what nice numbers would have captured this.
Well, this is just god awful, isn't it? You crazy. Good start to things. I know, we locked our foggy boy. Yeah, this is not fun. Just lock every, like, I almost want to play Naglfar just to see if we can get something to consume, perhaps, and drop it. We could also get some really bad shit. Well, actually, only Haunt is something we absolutely do not want, right? Everything else can kind of happen. Oh, this just feels like painfully bad. That's actually kind of good. And we get Haunt next round, so that feels pretty decent. We can keep, I mean, the chance of this staying on the board and not getting like just straight up Yenvoed, probably unlikely, but. Hey look, that's not what I expected. Sweet deal.
100 faces, all yours to command.
Ride her out. Trying to fix headphones. What did you do to your headphones, sir?
I shall relieve them of all burdens.
And soon my wall will take care of them. Your statement is fair. I'd like to think so. We just consume this to get it off the board. Probably, right? No reason not to. Considering we don't need to win the round, continuing to put pressure on him is going to be kind of fine. Trying to think of what Igni shenanigans we're going to find. I mean, at this point, Igniing these two in the back might be okay. Hold on.
Take him to the woods and release the house.
Oh, it's funny how Bluetooth is like the gold standard for
My duty?
any type of
Stick
connection,
my nose where it doesn't belong.
yet it's still a piece of trash. Like, it is still super unreliable. There's pass now. I think I do want to yeet ball. I feel like Drew thing's super funky. What's with cables were too expensive for me? No, man, I get ya. I do.
Ah, welcome.
Ghost Rider TV, thank you for the follow. Welcome to Christo's Cafe. Yeah, Kane, I've had my PC built for a year now, and I finally figured out how to make Bluetooth work. Took me a year of just fucking around with it and fidgeting with it to get it to go. So, like, our hand is quite good here. I do kind of want to keep the consume, but I probably don't need it right now. I kind of want to drive past card because I feel like... Ripping them off time to time accidentally when you want to turn around or scratch your ass. Yes, that is why wires are a bit of a pain in the ass. They always get caught on something, on like your seat arm or anything. Yeah, I feel ya. The beauty of wireless technology is next level, but... Okay, Brooke, so that is too many of yous. What do we want here? Not Foggy. Maruna, Manticore... Ah. I almost don't want a larva. Get out of here. Fuck. Squirrel. Why? Didn't draw any of my control card, like, well, control cards. Those guys. Is Squirrel just our proactive play here? Because you can't play anything from the graveyard. Doesn't actually matter. Go, Squirrely boy. No, not cost J Echo. What's up, Hogflex? Goodbye, Brathens. Sorry, hate to disappoint, sir. We're going old school overwhelming hunger. I think B was talking about Ada just being a lovely removal for engines and things. Let's get that out of here while we're at it. Because why not? I maybe didn't need to. I maybe could have held that for something else. I like to scratch my ass as well. That's why I got a wireless headset. Until this point, Bringer, I've worked with you for so long now, I didn't even know. Didn't even know that you were one to scratch your ass. His hand must be interesting with something like this going on. I'd like to think Igni will find value on like some usurper thing. Might get a new CPU this month. That is exciting. Because you had problems. You had to replace your power supply, right, Echo? Maybe that means he doesn't have Ramon to get another lockout, which means like our Detlef would be fine if we go Haunt then Detlef. You are smart. Keeping certain things under wraps. We actually don't need this consume, so maybe just consuming, just giving him a bigger poison target is probably not the way to go. Put a big ball of dust inside. You do occasionally like dust your PC, right, Echo? Just occasionally. It looks like you tried to make a Vi deck but forgot the Vi. That is correct. So he could have one more lock and fest, right? I mean, Psychoki, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. I have a moral, some sort of moral limitation to being able to play that junk. That's fair, Echo. I have a small compressor that my father-in-law lent me for bikes, but I've been using it on my PC. How are you, Psychoki? I feel like this just gets locked so hard. Lock me daddy. That is correct, JC. Just calling out the play. He has one. My only hope is that he has, I mean, oh baby. Trying to get through this month of work without getting fired. Is there a reason you would get fired, Psychoki? I mean, I hope not, but you know, it is what it is. You do you. I feel like condensing points is just such a terrible idea.
Your blood will warm my bones.
From when I talked about someone, my new CPU should get 100% more power in some games from my GPU. Sweet deal, Echo. I mean, you said your CPU and your GPU were relatively old, right? So I'm not entirely surprised by that. You gonna poison my Bargus? You are gonna poison my Bargus.
Particular tastes.
This probably sneaks in between. Oh, these numbers are all fucked up again, aren't they? CPU's worth $5 now? Good to know. So I kind of want to drop my consume in between here, but again, making this dude big before his... he's not going to get poisons from... For $5, it's going to cost you more to ship it to me. He has not played Yenvo, JC. That's kind of my concern. I don't want to get too tall. You can't poison and Yenvo everything, right? Can you just drop your Masquerade Ball, please? Because that's the problem, right? A warrior here would be fine, except for the fact that he would then Yenvo whatever. There it is. Did you just Yenvo Goliath? It's a bit weird. Would it have been better, Psychoki? You might be right. That might have been the play. I just like this because it filled up the row, so it blocked him for 3. I think this becomes a Vincent target. Eat the Detlaf with the Bargus, then consume both of them and just have one super duper tall unit. Yeah, I just get so nervous with that shit. I probably shouldn't. Can you please give me an Igni? On that front row would be perfect. No Leo, maybe a Vincent? I can't remember what Saber's deck runs. Ah, fucks me, doesn't it? If he locks it or something, but... I still don't think he wins this, because he drops ball and we yeet it, and then whatever he plays after doesn't matter. I think. Right? So with him dropping that... like, just feels really weird. He can if he has Roderick into Usurper.
Let's get this over with.
If he plays Ball, then he plays Roderick and grabs Usurper with it out of his deck and plays both. He can. Apparently that's not what he's doing, so maybe I did fuck that up. Roderick into Ball and then he still gets no?
What is it you want?
I mean, I think we yeet this anyway, right? Because the... we prevent the poison from coming out.
Yoink!
Oh, Roderick into Ku into... yeah, that's also a thing he could do.
This is the way.
Jesus. I mean, we might be here for a while. I still don't think he can win, but... it's a thick Goliath.
Oh, what a lovely tea
Oh,
party.
it's a lovely one. It is, this tea party. This should be better, different, the same. I don't really know. Playing around Brent 5-head, 1000% Huggies. Draw all of my consumes. Get out of here. Igni could actually be okay in the theoriest of theory, right? Everything he plays is about the same power. That's the first thing I tell myself, but that might be...
Full service.
Oh, that's got to be a Manticore, right? That's a straight up Manticore. That's got to be the first time I've seen Bran played against me, I want to say. Powder Ven's gone, so I'm done with Gwent. There. Yeah, it's, well, I mean, relatively easy to play around. Not playing 3 units per row is not easy per se, right?
Go ahead. Stare at me stump again, see what happens.
Yes, Slitteram. That's exactly it. That's true. You can play your small stuff to the right. It only kills the rightmost unit, but that's why they use the leader, right, Psychoki? Because they can move whatever they want to the side. See, I think that Igni's gonna get some value this game. Well, Bran, again, you have to play that leader for movement, right? You're using Axie? No way. That's the reset one, right? I mean, people are playing like spores and stuff too, so I'm not surprised you're seeing that at all. Purify and reset.
I'll gut you like fishes!
Why would you flip these before pinging them both? That's also a good point, Psychoki. You don't need all of that. Yeah, he had to use his moves last game to just not go down a card. So I think that's probably where that difference came. That's it. Foggy Boy comes first because he's a 2-turn play. You setting up Blood Eagle here? Do I care that much? Haunt, Detlef. I did go back in time, Patty. Went back to last season. I took the best of last season and brought it forward because this season is kind of shit. So I want to bring... The best part was, actually, I never played this deck last season. I played Devotion last season, so... Oh, look who it is.
I'm ready.
Darius non-lippy, that is correct. Fuck one, play Thronebreaker. Yeah, you could probably do movement with Igni as well. You're right, Psychoki. We could get kind of cucked if we play Naglfar right now. I don't like full love it, but put pressure on even. I kind of don't hate it. How are you, Patty? Welcome to the cafe. Oh, big Skjordal.
Treason, turncoats.
Big Skjordal. when not in deck. Yeah, they're like fixing Lippy is not a bad. It's like it shouldn't be too difficult theoretically. Yes, there's still great tempo, just not twice. That's the whole deal. Just busy. Yeah, I feel you, man. I am the same. I mean, we technically can hit this row with Igni right now if we wanted to. I don't want to. I will take my win on even. With Haunt in hand. Burning the leader is like kind of meh, but... Oh. What, Sleepy? What was that? That would be stellar. I need another Deathwish. All theoretically like, right? This will kill an 11 at the very minimum. That's a Deathwish. That's a Deathwish that I have to play proactively, which is odd. I just slam Haunt to push him. Actually, Egern's fine, right? Egern probably just straight up dies, but that does activate Osrill. Actually, I could then go Haunt and go Noonwraith and consume this if it survives. Fuck it. 5 shield is bad, or 5 armor is bad. Morntart. Of course you forget about him. Everybody forgets about him. Michael Fassbender. That would be pretty stellar too. Yeah. I feel like Robert Downey Jr. wouldn't quite be... It would be cool, but it wouldn't be quite right.
We'll turn to see red! Red!
That means our Osrill is okay, right? I heard Witcher's doing that. The Witcher series, I think they cast Siggy as the guy who voices him in the game, so which I think is always cool, right? Him playing that makes me feel kind of okay. Oh, and Lars Mikkelsen's a good actor as well. You can't heat wave, you can possibly remove this at best. Can't do that either. Feels good.
Gotcha. No.
Come on, Rostack. Also, why are you playing this guy? Are you playing Arn? Is that what's happening here? Why am I Rostacking? Somebody explain that one to me. UDEP's actually, for 4 provisions, it ends up playing for 7 points pretty much, right? But it's not in the classic... Well, then again, the guy played Ceres and Totem and stuff, so... This is very clearly not classic. Oh! Put Harry on the back row, resurrect your 5-point dude. Yes! Oh, put the Raider on the back row. Come on, man. Gotta help me out here.
Women, children, elders, we spare none.
I can definitely see that, Sleepy. We're talking Disney, Echo. No issue with dollar bills. That's true. Oh, Hemdall. That Disney money. Yep. What else does this guy have left? He's played Heimdall, he played Mork, he played Harold. %40 of the entertainment industry as a whole. That's Patty, that's probably like on the low end. But pretty close. Do I just keep rolling here? Guy doesn't have great swords or anything. Like, what else does he have that I'm missing? Because if we get leader out of him, then at least Igni hits for a good amount of points. There it is. And le charge du champion.
The more I drink with our forefathers!
Any last words?
We leader. 10 points in one card's probably tough. 8 points is still tough. Not good enough.
Very corpses? Nay, feed our foes to the crabs while they
Oh,
stand
what a
there.
lovely
Close,
tea
but
party.
not good enough. I should have consumed one of the damaged dudes.
Oh, what a lovely tea party.